What's up, guys? I'm JJ,
I'm Angel.
and this is PM Football. Today, we're going to be going over our sleepers in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
The draft is won in the later rounds of the draft. You guys have already heard of some of the names that we've gone over in some of the mock drafts. You're all very familiar with some of those names. Today, we are going to give you guys some names to keep an eye out for that we personally think are going to be gems later on in this draft.
Absolutely. What's that one stat they show every year in the draft where above 60% of NFL rosters are made up of day three guys?
Yeah.
These are the guys we're talking about. We're talking about guys that people are kind of overlooking that we believe could end up being gems in the NFL.
Yeah. You can't build a roster without having players hit in the later rounds.
Absolutely.
So why don't we start things off? We have 10 players total. We got 5 offensive, 5 defensive. We're going to start off with the offense, and we're starting things off hot. This is one of my favorite players in the entire draft. His name's Jack Bech. He's a wide receiver out of TCU. 6'1", 214. He didn't run a 40 at the combine, although he did do a vert. He had a 34.5-inch vert and a 10.5 broad. Pretty solid numbers for a 6'1", 215-poundish receiver. His freshman year, he was at LSU. So this is the 2021 season.
I believe
The
so.
season after Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson are all leaving. Joe Burrow's gone. It's the intermediate season of LSU where they were in between Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
So we honestly couldn't remember who the quarterback was during that time
Not on
period.
the top of my head.
Not very good ball knowledge by us. But in his freshman season, was able to put up 43 receptions, 489 yards, and 3 touchdowns. As a freshman at LSU, that's pretty impressive. He went on next season, didn't play that great, ended up transferring to TCU. His first season at TCU didn't go great. He had 12 catches for 146 yards. He didn't score. And then this past season absolutely went nuclear. He had 62 catches, 1,034 yards, and 9 touchdowns. Now, I know a guy like Jack Bech isn't going to get very much love because he's not a fast guy. He doesn't do anything flashy.
No.
But that is what I love about him. He doesn't win the underpants Olympics at the combine. He's a guy that when you put the football pads on is going to go out and be a great football player.
Yeah.
And that is like when you watch the film of Jack Bech, that's just what you come away with after watching him.
I always say film doesn't lie. Like
Yeah.
I always like, although the combine is important, I like basing my opinions on what does the film tell me.
Yeah, so some things that Jack Bech does really well. He plays so physical at his size. He's 6'1", 215, plays very physical, but he is also just a super hard guy to tackle. He's great after the catch, super hard to tackle. He is also really good at boxing out the corners and contested catches, and he's just very good at playing with leverage and understanding where a zone is. He can sit down in the soft spots. He can make a cut if he knows a guy's sitting in a spot. Now, some things that I think he does need to work on, and I don't even think it's something he can really do to fix it. He's just not the fastest guy, like I've said that. But like it doesn't matter. Like he's a football player at the end of the day. I don't care how fast you are. If you can go out there, put good tape on, you got my vote. And I mean, run blocking maybe a little bit. You can throw in run blocking maybe.
Yeah.
But where this guy's projected right now, he's sitting pretty safely in the 3rd round. I personally have him as an early 2nd rounder and as my 5th receiver in the entire draft. I know that may sound crazy. You have the top 4. You got T-Mac. This is not including Travis Hunter, by the way. T-Mac, Golden, Abuka, Burden, and then I got Jack Bech. That's how highly I think of this guy. Now, there are names in between that people might have ahead of him. For me personally, Jack Bech is just an all-around good football player, and I think is going to be a really good pro. Final thing, my player comp of him. I don't want you guys to take this the wrong way. I just truly believe in this guy's play and think he can get to this level at the next level. I'm going to preface it by saying poor man's. Mm-hmm. He's a poor man's Puka Nacua. Puka was a 5th-round draft pick coming out of college. Not a lot of people were high on him. He didn't have speed. He could run okay routes. Like, he was just a very average player. But when it came to the game, he got it done. That is what, for me, Jack Bech does. And that's why I think what will make him a great pro at the next level.
Yeah, I mean, you got me sharp to Jack Bash. I do like him. I'm not necessarily as high on him as you are, but I still really like him. Like, I really do. I agree. I do think he's a second round talent. I think he could contribute greatly to NFL rosters.
Yeah,
So, no, I absolutely do think he's a guy some people are overlooking.
100%.
Yeah.
Watch his Senior Bowl.
Yeah. On to my first guy. We're sticking in the receiver room. My first guy that I think is an underrated gem that people need to start talking about more is Theo Weiss Jr., receiver out of Missouri. Obviously, people are going to talk about his teammate more, Luther Burden. Understandably, he's most likely going to be a first-round pick. But I think guys, or people in general, need to talk about Theo Weiss more. He is 6'3", 200 pounds. Things I like about him, he has good, reliable hands. He's always going to catch the ball. You're not going to really see him drop passes. He's good with yards after catch. I mean, you don't really need to explain much there. He gets yards after catch. And he understands spacing and leveraging. Kind of similar to Jack Besh. Not going to be the elite route runner you want to see, but they understand how to leverage against defenders. They understand space, and particularly in zone defense. So those are things I really like about him. He does lack elite speed. Obviously, you would like your receivers to be more on the faster side. Not saying he is slow, but he could, kind of like your guy, Jack Besh, he could work on his speed. And
Which you can't really do at this point.
You could always get, not always, but like you could work on getting a little faster, but like it's either you're faster or not, really. Yeah. And kind of to go along with his speed, his acceleration. I would like to see more burst when it comes to his route running, getting off the line, but that kind of ties along with his speed. If you don't look at his speed, I think he is one of the more talented, and more completed receivers in this draft. It's just, his speed and acceleration is kind of holding him back a little. That mixed in with Luther Burden being your teammate, I think are the reasons why people aren't really talking about him. But, I mean, he's projected to be a late day 3 guy. I would feel comfortable taking him in the 4th round. I really do think he could come in and really contribute to a team and learn an offense. I think if you get him to learn and get comfortable with the offense, he could contribute greatly to an NFL offense.
No, we played Theo Weiss at Oklahoma, and
as in Texas.
Sorry about that. Yeah. And we game planned against him. Like he was a guy that we were focused on during.
Very underrated.
We got a theme here going. I got another receiver for you guys.
We promise it's not all receivers.
It's not all receivers, I promise. But the next guy I've got for you is Kyle Williams, wide receiver out of Washington State. Another one of my favorite players in this entire draft. I feel like I'm going to say this about every single guy I've talked about today, but he's 5'11", 190, ran a 4.4 40. He had a 1.55 10-yard split, 36.5-inch vert, and a 9.11 broad.
Oh, really?
Wow.
What are you trying to say?
His game's explosive,
to say the least.
Yes. But he spent his first 3 seasons at UNLV, where he combined for 117 catches, 1,568 yards, and 9 touchdowns. Nothing to write home about. Your first 3 seasons in college, not terrible numbers. 2023 was when he really came onto the map. He transfers to Washington State when Cam Ward is transferring there. And those two find the connection like no other. He goes in, he has 61 catches, 842 yards, and 6 touchdowns. I'm not going to say he made Cam Ward look good, but if he wasn't there, I don't think Cam Ward is playing at Miami then next year.
You could say they both needed each other in a way.
They definitely
complemented each other very well.
Much so. Yeah. And then this past season, without Cam Ward, you think the numbers are dropping, right? Not even close. He goes for 70 catches, 1,198 yards, and 14 touchdowns. He went nuclear this year. He could not be guarded. Now, some things that I really, really love about Kyle Williams' game is his ability to release off of the line from the snap. He is Kyrie Irving at the line. Like, he's crossing people up. He has some of the best release I've ever seen. Not ever, but from this class, he has some of the best release that I've seen. He's a twitchy and sudden player and can play inside or outside. He has such good ball tracking ability. He can make contested catches for not being a big guy like Besh. He's only 5'11". He's still very good at body control and being able to box out a player that is bigger than him, which that's what you would love from a receiver that's 5'11". And then he's good at all three levels. You can have him underneath, you can have him in the intermediate, and you can have him deep. He has a great route tree, very well-rounded game. I'm talking about him like I think he's the next Julio Jones. Like I don't think he's that. He's a very, very, very solid player. And man, like I just want the Bills to draft him just because I want another Kyle Williams.
Okay.
But I'm not saying he's a perfect player. He needs to clean up some things. Some things that I would say he doesn't struggle with, but maybe just clean up a little bit are his route depths. Like that's just you play 70 snaps a game.
Can you kind of specify on that? Like
on
with route depths.
So for people that don't know what I'm talking about. So like if you're running a post or a dig, instead of and you need to go 7 yards, he's going 6.5. Like I don't know if people realize it, but like they practice is set off of the yard depths and that's what the quarterback is throwing at.
And not only that might not seem like too big of a deal for some people. You got to think in situational football, like when it's 3rd down or 2-minute warning, like those details end up mattering, especially in those moments.
Well, especially if you are a quarterback and you have a defensive lineman in your face and you know the play, but you can't really necessarily see it, and he's supposed to be there.
Yep.
That's 6.5 to 7 yards. That half a yard is a huge difference.
Absolutely.
It's the difference between a pick or a completed pass. And I'm not saying he's bad at it, but like
he can improve on it.
There are times where you can see that.
I feel you.
And he can improve on it a little bit. And then he's just a leaner guy. Like he's not a built, jacked receiver. That like Jack Bech. Jack Bech is just
built. Yeah.
Built. But he like you can live with that as a receiver at the next level. He's 5'11". It's not like he's Tank Dell.
Always gain muscle too.
He's 190. Like 5'11", 190. You can definitely add to that frame.
Yeah. You get to 200, you're looking pretty good.
So Kyle Williams currently is projected as a day 3 player. I currently have a 3rd round grade on him. I really do think he's going to be a very good player at the next level. And my player comp for him is Jaden Reed. He's a guy that can play inside. He can play outside. You can bring him in on a jet sweep. He's got the speed. He ran a 4.4. I'm a very big fan of Kyle Williams' game, and I hope everybody else can watch him too.
Yeah, I mean, very good explanation there. For our first offensive player that is not a receiver, I have Jalen Rivers, offensive lineman out of Miami, 6'6", 319. 3-year starter at left tackle at Miami. When I watch his film, I don't see a tackle necessarily, and I'll explain why. But one being a 3-year starter at left tackle at any place, let alone a P4 place like Miami, very impressive. I think that says a lot about him. Some things I like about him. I think he has very good and clean footwork. I like his patience. You see a lot of times with offensive linemen, they either panic or they want to jump set fast. Like there isn't a rhythm. They're kind of panicking. Not with him. He has very good patience. He's very good in his transitions. And he has really good size to him. Like I said, 6'6", 319. That is an ideal size you would like to have in an offensive lineman. Some things I think he should improve on and could improve on. He lacks speed and burst. When you watch him play, and this is part of the reason why I think he belongs more interior, he doesn't really have that burst and speed coming out of the snap that you would like to see in your tackles, which is why I think he would work a lot better on the inside. And he could improve his aim point. How can I put this to make the most sense when it comes to aim point? When a lot of people don't realize like how technical and how tedious being an offensive lineman is. It's not just
offensive line is a game of inches.
It's so technical. It's not just like you're not just saying here grab your pass. Like no, depending on the type of block, whether it's pass pro, run play, inside run, outside run, there's a specific point you would like your head to line up and for your hands to line up. He doesn't always hit those points necessarily, but I think that's something that's very coachable in the next level.
Yeah. I mean, we sat here and watched this guy together.
Yeah.
This guy, we had no expectations for.
Yeah.
We've been sitting here for about 2 hours trying to find someone else
Yeah.
to put on this list.
Yeah.
And we honestly think we might have found a gem with this guy.
Yeah, like you said, there wasn't really expectations. We're kind of just flipping through guys watching film, and then this guy comes out of nowhere. And it started off with, oh, okay, he's not bad.
He's not
And
making
as-
mistakes.
Yeah, and then as it kept going, it's like, oh wait, no, he's like fully doing his job. Like it's a great transition. I loved his patience when it came to pass pros and switching from going past and covering the post. Like all that looked really well, and we kept watching and watching. It was like, no, like this dude has some talent to him. His projection is a late day 3 pick. I would feel very comfortable drafting him in the 4th round. Again, I see him more as an interior offensive lineman. I would not draft him as a tackle based off of his speed and lack of burst, but I think he would be a very solid guard in the NFL.
Especially in a draft like this where there's a lot of early round offensive linemen that are going to be going this year.
Yeah.
If you're one of the teams that aren't able to snag a guy like one of those top guys in the 1st round or 2nd round,
Yeah.
I think he's a very comfortable guy to take.
I honestly think he has
4th
great
round.
value. I think people are looking him, obviously, which is why
We were.
he's on our list. Yeah, like he's not a name you really hear about, and the fact that he's a 3-year starter at left tackle out of Miami, why aren't people talking about this dude more? I think it's because people don't really see him as a tackle, which I agree, but man, I think his film says he could be a really solid guard.
Yeah. All right, enough of this big boy talk. We're going back to a skill position.
Nothing wrong with the big
Or
boys.
nothing wrong with them, but we gotta make it fun and go to the. I'm not saying it's not fun, but
You're insulting a whole group
I'm
of people.
not. The skill positions are just more fun to watch. You can't even disagree with that.
I am disagreeing.
To most people,
Big boys, I got your back.
I mean, I can sit there and watch offensive line film all day.
I feel you.
But moving on to another explosive athlete, we got Bashul Tootin, Virginia Tech running back. He blew up the combine. He was the fastest running back at the combine. He ran a 4.32, and he's 5'9", 202. That's a bowling ball with speed.
Yeah.
He had 1,159 yards this year, 15 touchdowns, including 23 catches. He only had 81 yards, which is kind of weird. 23 catch, that's like 4 yards a catch. Like that's a little interesting. 2 touchdowns in the pass game though. There had to have been a game in there where he just like lost a 20-yard reception or something. Like that makes no sense.
Fumble
to me.
recovery, like bad snap. or
Because he
something?
has
Who knows?
good receiving stats throughout his career too. This year he just had 81 yards on 23 catches. Kind of weird.
Yeah.
But he's a transfer from NC-A&T. He played 2 years there, his freshman, sophomore year, transferred to Tech in his junior year, kind of built up his junior year, and then this year, with the stats I just said, he had a great season.
Yeah.
He is a very explosive runner. Again, he's 5'9", 202. So you don't really think that type of running back when you think that size. But he's an explosive runner, has great contact balance, and he's really good getting north and south. I'm not saying he's the best. Like he's not a shifty guy by any means, but he's very good north-south runner, great contact balance. He really shows patience, and he has great vision on the inside runs. Again, I don't love his ability to really like be Saquon. Like it's just so easy to compare somebody to Saquon because he's the best. You can't like he's not going to be the guy that's jump stepping 3 gaps and moving out the
in
way.
a single swift move.
He's not doing that, but no one else is really doing that besides him. So, and the other thing I really like about him is he's a true weapon in the pass game. Not just as a running back, he's a very good weapon out of the backfield on screens. And the thing that really makes me like him the most, and I think this will keep him in the league for a long time, he's a special teams ace. He was their kick returner and punt returner. And to me, if you're a 5'9", 200-pound guy that can fly, you put him at gunner. And you just let him fly down that field and hit the first thing he sees.
He is fast. He showed it in the combine.
Yeah.
He does have straight line speed. So, no, I mean, he would be great as a gunner. Absolutely.
So one thing that really made him fall off, I think, before the combine happened was he had an ankle injury later in the season, and he really kind of, I wouldn't say dropped off, but his play definitely
You could tell it
suffered.
affected him.
Yeah, you could tell it affected him, which, I mean, it's an ankle injury for running back. That's going to happen.
Yeah, serious.
Now, he's right now projected late day 3. He's probably day 3 at this point. I wouldn't even say late day 3. I have him as an early day 3, potentially even late day 2, like end the third round. Mm-hmm. If there's a run on the running backs, like I really think there's going to be, mm-hmm. I think he's a very good player to plug in there at the end of the third round if you need a running back, then you didn't get one during the run. I think he's a very solid player to take. And my player comp for him is DeAndre Swift. They're the same size, same build, basically. He's just not a shifty, like I mentioned. He's more of the north-south runner. Swift is a little bit more of a side-to-side, make you miss type of guy, but same body type and same physicalness. Like, mm-hmm. I really like to equate their games together.
No, I mean, I think those are great explanations. He did make a name for himself in the Combine, and I think that's what the Combine's really for. You know, you hear a lot of people complain about this high-profile guy isn't running or this high-profile quarterback isn't passing. I don't think that's not necessarily what the Combine is for. I think it's for guys like him.
Like a Tootin.
Yeah, where it's guys people are kind of overlooking, hey, let me show you what I could bring from a physical standpoint.
Especially after being injured. Like,
exactly.
The film of a guy injured and he's still playing is so much different than a guy fully healthy playing. Yeah. And you can tell.
Yeah, no, I'm very happy he was able to make a name for himself in the Combine. So those are our offensive guys. Now we're moving on to the defense. My first guy on the defensive side of the ball is Colin Oliver, linebacker out of Oklahoma State. He's listed as a linebacker. He's really more of an outside linebacker / edge when you watch his film. Like I said, out of Oklahoma State, 6'2", 240. Does not have that much film on him from this year because he was dealing with a foot injury pretty early on in the season. But some great things about him, he's very explosive and quick. When you watch his film, you could tell right away from the jump. I did not have much expectations of him going in, and within the first 2 or 3 plays, like you could see
he
this
jumps
dude
off.
Absolutely when it comes to his explosiveness and quickness. He has a great motor. He does not stop running. It sucks that he got injured and it was a serious injury with his foot because his motor, he does not stop, dude. And I love players like that, especially players on the defensive side and, you know, the edge rushers, the guys that get dirty, you know. I love that their motors keep going. And he could go in coverage. You don't see a lot of edge players going out in coverage too often. He doesn't. He does it at a very high level, I feel like. When you watch his film, they are very comfortable putting him out in coverage against a tight end, against a running back. And like I said, he does it very well. And to his weaknesses, again, he had a serious foot injury. I believe there are reports that he's good to go now, but obviously it was serious enough for it to put him out for most of the year last year. So hopefully that doesn't really come to affect him too much. And he is undersized. You would like to see your edge / outside linebackers a little bigger than what he is. But the way he plays bigger than what he is. So that wouldn't faze me too much when it comes to him. He is projected to be a 7th round pick or undrafted guy. I have him as a 5th round pick. I honestly do believe with the film he's shown this year, although it wasn't much film, from what he's shown, I feel like he could be a difference maker and a good contributor to a defensive side of the ball in the NFL.
Yeah. No, I remember, again, at Texas playing against him when he was healthy. Mm-hmm. The season he was healthy. And then they have the other linebacker there, too. I can't remember.
Martin, right?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Whichever. They have 2 guys coming out this year. Both of them very good. He was definitely the X factor. Colin Oliver was the guy we were really keyed in on. And
it sucks that injury happened, man. Because like, I feel like if it didn't happen, a lot more people would be talking about him. Like, he is super fun to watch for the few games that he played.
Yeah, very versatile. Mm-hmm. My first defensive guy is a corner, Noel Williams. He's from University of California. He had 7 interceptions this season.
That's nice.
I wanted to lead off.
Yeah, no, that's solid.
7 interceptions, but even before I list the height and weight. He's 6 foot, 199 pounds. Mm-hmm. 7 interceptions.
Yeah.
3 of them pick sixes.
Nice.
He had 7 this year, right? He has 14 in his entire career in college.
So he doubled that all in 1 year.
And 7 through 4 years.
No, it's very
he's
solid.
he's
and
a
not only
5-year
that,
player.
I would even argue that shows how much he has grown within a year. So to me, that's even more impressive.
So again, I said the 14 career throughout his career. He was at UNLV for the first 3 years of his career. Transfers to Cal for the last 2. Those last 2 at Cal, he had 9.
Okay.
So he's really stepped his game up these past 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Including last season. 7 picks. 3 for pick sixes. And he also had 8 pass breakups and 52 tackles. And he had a forced fumble. You got to throw the forced fumble.
Yeah, absolutely. It matters.
Shows that he's aggressive at the ball.
Yeah.
Noah Williams has great ball skills. He's one of the guys, he looks like a receiver playing corner. And he didn't play receiver. That he's one of the few guys that you watch a corner play and it's like, oh, I could tell that guy played receiver. I tried to, he didn't play receiver. He just has that good of ball skills as a corner. He's really good at man and zone. He's a physical guy. He's 6 foot 190. Not the biggest guy in the world, but he's a very, very physical defender. And he also is very patient and disciplined in his zone reads. He's able to keep his eye on the receiver and he's able to keep his eye on the quarterback. He has very good eyes, and he can really work in either scheme at the next level. Now, where he does have weaknesses, he's not the fastest guy, and again, uses more of that physicality to his advantage, which could lead to problems in the league of being a little bit maybe too physical. But I'm going to be on the side of I want the guy that's physical.
Physicality isn't necessarily a bad thing, especially at corner.
You don't want a guy that's afraid of contact.
Yeah. Oh,
unless...
Trust me, my team knows a lot about that.
And he has at times can be inconsistent in tackling because of the aggressiveness.
Yeah.
He's just a suit. If you watch him, he's attacking the ball and trying to hit somebody, which who doesn't want that in corner? He's projected as a mid-day 3 guy right now. And I have him as a late day 2. I really think that he has the size and the physicalness and the ability to play man and zone. What team isn't going to try to take a chance on that as a corner with ball skills? He has 14 picks. I don't see why not. You take a chance on a guy late in the 3rd round with him. My player comp for him is Cam Taylor-Britt. You've seen Cam Taylor-Britt make some of the craziest picks you've seen. This past year, he had the Odell Beckham pick or whatever against, I forgot who they were. Was it the Chiefs? I want to say it was the Chiefs.
I can't even remember, honestly.
But super physical corner. They have the same height, weight, very, very similar players. I really like the comparison of those two.
He should hire you as his hype man. I mean, I haven't seen him, and you're convincing me.
He's so good.
No, like you said, who doesn't want a corner specifically who is physical and hungry for the ball? So, no, you're doing a good job convincing me, and hopefully
you guys too. Go watch him if you haven't seen him.
My second defender that I think could be a gem that I think people should be watching more is Kobe Keene, linebacker out of Penn State. Obviously, when you have a talent like Abdul Carter, not a lot of people are going to talk about the people around Abdul Carter, but I think more people should be talking about Kobe Keene. 6'1", 236, inside linebacker out of Penn State, like I said. Some great parts of his game, really good at stopping the run. He reads the game very well, which goes into my next point. He has a high IQ. When you watch him play, it's like the game goes to him. I love defenders. And I've always been like this ever since I started working in football. One of my favorite things to watch in a defender is their instincts and how the game the game doesn't control them, they control the game. I love dominant defenders when it comes to reading the backfield, reading the backers, reading the line, seeing their reactions to when they pull and stuff like that. He does all that very well. And he's a great tackler. He secures his tackles. You love to see that in a linebacker. Nothing is more annoying than when a linebacker hits a running back, for instance, and then the running back proceeds to get an extra 8 yards. None of that's necessary. He doesn't allow that to happen. He's great at securing his tackles. Things he could work on, his pass coverage. Not the best in pass coverage. I think it's specifically and especially in how the NFL is run today, very pass heavy. You would like to see him improve in his pass coverage. And he's not that elusive. He's not a guy that's very quick in changing direction, and he's not as explosive, elusive, and dynamic as you would like to see. Is that coachable? Maybe. I think it's one of those things, like we said earlier, where like it's either you're fast or you're not. I think you can improve on his elusiveness, but I don't know how much better you could get at it. But nonetheless, I think all the other positives in his game, I think significantly outweigh what his weaknesses are.
Yeah.
He's projected to be a 6th-round pick. I would be comfortable taking him in the 4th. Like I said, I think he's one of those guys where when you watch his film, he takes control of the game. Now, could it be a little easier when you have Abdul Carter on your team? Sure. But even when Abdul's either not in or on the opposite side of the field, whatever it may be.
And deny Dennis Smith.
Yeah, maybe. Look, either way, he is always around the ball. And that's what you love to see with your inside linebackers. Is he where the ball is? With Kobe Keene, he is.
Yeah, no, like you said, all of the attributes you want on a linebacker.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah.
He just happened to play on one of the best defenses in the country.
Yeah.
Is it as good without him? To you, probably not, right?
No, I think, and of course, like I said, Abdul Carter is going to be the big name there. But I still believe that defense is not as good without his leadership and his ability to take control of a game, especially at inside linebacker.
And guess what? This is what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
We're not talking about an Abdul Carter.
Exactly.
We're talking about Kobe King.
It's so easy to look over guys like that.
Yeah, because he's not Abdul Carter.
Exactly.
Like, you just get so focused on the guys at the top of the draft. Mm-hmm. And you're like, well, he's not as good as him. Mm-hmm. So he sucks. No. Those are the guys, like you just mentioned, those are the guys that win you the games.
Yeah.
They're the glue to the pieces. You can't put...
Just because they're not the flashiest doesn't mean...
You can't put a good... I don't even know an analogy I'm trying to go.
I'm trying to think of examples from, like, the past, and I'm having a hard time thinking of it as well, because I'm trying to think of two guys from the same team that got drafted. One was obviously better, but in the NFL, one ended up being the better one.
Yeah. I know what you're trying to say, but like we're talking about, these are the guys that are going to win you your games.
Yeah.
Not give you this cornerstone type player like a Myles Garrett. Look where the Browns are right now. They have Myles Garrett, but look where they are.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree.
To you, a Kobe King, I'm not saying he's coming in and changing your whole culture right away, but he's the start.
But he contributes.
And you can stack a couple of them together.
I was going to say he contributes to that culture greatly.
Now, sticking at the linebacker position.
Perfect.
This is the most hated on player in the entire country. The biggest snub from the combine this season. Sean Dolak, linebacker out of the University of Buffalo. He's 6'1", 225. Like I said, didn't get a combine invite. Goes to his pro day and runs a 4.55.
That's it.
What? He was first team All-American. How is this dude not at the combine?
It is pretty crazy when you think about that. Like, you just assume you make All-American. Yeah, obviously you're going to get a combine invite. Not this guy.
Oh, he goes out and runs a 4.55. Also puts up 25 reps on the bench press, which would have been third at best at the combine for the linebackers.
Yeah.
So not only is he fast, super strong.
Athletic freak.
And he's only 6'1". Like, he's putting those numbers up at 6'1". Mm-hmm. He had 168 tackles this year. 5 passes defended. 6 sacks. And the most impressive thing of all, he had 5 picks as a middle linebacker.
That's actually really good. I did not know that. That's really impressive.
5 picks as a middle linebacker?
That's really impressive. There are DBs that made All-American
and started for 4
schools
seasons
that do not have those picks.
And he ran one back for a touchdown.
It's very impressive.
Straight dog.
Yeah.
He is an athlete, elite tackler. Like you were mentioning with Kobe King. Sometimes you get a linebacker that's a tackle merchant, and it's the second guy to hit him, and he gets an assisted tackle, and it counts towards his tackle. He's not that guy.
Yeah.
He's taking the contact on and pulling them down. They're not getting free.
Gotta love a linebacker that just loves and is addicted to the contact.
Yep. for sure. And like I said, great speed, can run sideline to sideline. He had 5 picks, so I mean, he must be pretty good in coverage.
Yeah.
So I just like I'm mind blown with the stats that I just read off. They thought highly enough of him to give him first team All American, but not a combine invite.
That's pretty stupid.
And he ran a 4.55. If this dude's at the combine and everybody sees this on TV,
People are losing their mind. Yeah, I agree. No, it is very stupid that he didn't get a combine.
and I'm guaranteeing this is the first time, unless you're just an avid football fan, this is the first time you've ever heard of this guy. So now that you know of him, obviously you've never heard of him before. He was projected undrafted free agent. Like, no one knows who this guy is. He's a early day 3 guy. He's a 4th, 5th round player with just great instincts, can tackle, has speed, and can play in coverage. What more can you ask for out of a linebacker? He just played at the University of Buffalo, so no one knows who he is.
Yeah.
But now you do. And my player comp for him is a guy from Buffalo, is Matt Milano. Matt Milano's this undersized linebacker, comes into the league, no one really is expecting much from him. Comes out there, flies. He's a speed guy, and he's catching picks. And he's able to blitz the passer. Like, he had 6 sacks. That's not nothing to write off.
Especially as an inside linebacker. I think regardless, that's very good. But especially as an inside linebacker, that is very impressive.
Anyway, Sean Dolak, remember the name.
I love it. I love the hype. Was that your last guy or no?
Yep. I had to end it on the Buffalo guy.
Absolutely.
And I know where you're going.
If we're going to be repping, I'm going to keep repping. I'm not just saying this because I was there when he was there. This guy is truly talented, I promise you. My last guy is Rayon Lane III, safety, out of the United States Naval Academy. He's 5'11", 200 pounds, a little undersized as a safety. Does not play his size. Start with some strengths. Great speed. I love his burst. Love his speed. Love how he flies all over the field. You love to see that in a safety. Great in zone coverage. This is just one of many examples. The one Navy game I went to last year was against Memphis. It was a really good game. It was coming down to the wire, like 2-minute warning. Memphis is marching down the field. They're on Navy side of the ball. Quarterback throws the ball out of, obviously, zone coverage defense. Rayon comes out of nowhere in the end zone, picks it off. Not only does he pick it off, this dude proceeds to run over 100 yards to the end zone and get a touchdown for himself. And that's a normal occurrence for him. He flies all over the field. He's great in zone coverage. He understands how to disguise himself and kind of manipulate himself, if you can say. He has really good ball skills. I just brought up the interception. I wish I wrote down his stats, but he has great ball skills, knows how to pick the ball, really a ball hawk. He is such a talented player. Brought up earlier, doesn't have the best size, the ideal size you would like. He does not play like that, though. And at times, he could bite too hard. Like I said, he's a ball hawk. He loves getting picks. He knows he has great ball skills. He wants those picks. There are times where it can't hurt him, but I would rather my DBs be aggressive than be conservative, at least me personally.
No, for sure. That's what we're talking about.
And I think if you have a coach that knows how to talk to him, how to speak to him, to kind of read offenses better, I think that is something you could clean up. Like, hey, if it's this formation, he's running this route, this is when you should bite if you see him running this route as opposed to this. I think that's something that's very coachable.
What are your thoughts on his man coverage ability? Because of the game today in the NFL, you have to be able to guard in man as a safety. Like
I get that.
You're the tight ends guy.
Again, the reason he is as low as he is because of his size.
Yeah.
And again, he doesn't play like that. I absolutely do think he is great in man coverage, not as good as he is in zone, but it's not like you line him up in man and all of a sudden it's a 20-yard completion down the field.
Quarterback yelling, mismatch.
Exactly. Like, he can handle man. You just, as a defense, you just have to understand, like, who he would go up against in certain plays and stuff like that. Like, certain packages. Obviously, for instance, you're not going to line him up against Brock Bowers, probably. probably not the best idea. He towers over him.
I don't know how many people you would want to line up.
Exactly. But his size does throw people off a little bit. But I'm telling you, when you watch his film, he does not play like his size. He's projected to be a 7th-round pick or undrafted guy. I honestly think he could go in the 5th round. I think he goes into the league, probably starts off playing special teams. I think he will prove himself in special teams and end up getting true valuable minutes on a defense in the NFL.
I hope so. I really
trust me. Watch his film. For all of you watching, watch Rayon Lane play. I promise you will not regret it. The dude is super talented.
Yeah,
he's a great locker room guy. I remember my first week there in practices, like I brought up with Kobe Keane. He just kind of like he takes your attention. Like he just sets the tone for that defense. That's exactly what Rayon was. Like you could tell everyone on that side of the ball respected him, and like he was the voice of that defense. That's not easy to do at a place like Navy, where everyone is so like, no, I'm the guy, I'm the leader. Like he truly was like, no, I am the guy, I am the leader. He was the best defender on the entire field.
Yeah.
So definitely Rayon Lane, a guy y'all should watch out for.
Yeah. That's going to wrap things up for us.
Yeah.
The whole point of this video is to show you what scouting and what the draft process really is about.
Yeah, and I like that you brought it up because a lot of people see the face value as round 1 is the most important. That's where you want to hit. Obviously, you want to hit on your 1st-round picks. Day 2 and 3, not as important than day. Did I say day 3 or did I say day 2?
I can't remember.
day 2, not as important, but still important. Day 3, whatever. No, like we said in the beginning of the video, 60% or more of your roster will be day 3 guys. You're not going to hit on everyone, but you cannot afford to miss on your day 3 picks.
Yeah, and this is we're trying to show you how we don't just enjoy following the draft because of the big names in the 1st round.
That's just a small part of it.
We love trying to find these gem type players
Absolutely.
that we're trying to show you guys about.
Some of the best players in NFL history were just the greatest to ever do it. Tom Brady. 6th-round pick. I'm trying to think of more guys.
Puka Nacua.
I mean, even in
Cooper
today's
Kupp.
game.
No, Cooper
what
Kupp
was Travis Kelce? Like a 5th-round pick? What was he? 3rd? We got that out.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's all good.
There are just so many players on the roster. And like I think everybody gets caught up in the fact that the draft, when it's happening, you're only worried about who your team gets in the 1st and 2nd round.
Yeah.
10 years from now, you won't even remember. You won't even remember what round that guy was drafted in. There's probably 7 guys on at least just the Bills alone that were past 4th-round picks that are starters on our team.
Yeah.
Those are like we've been trying to say this whole time. Those are the guys that make up your roster and build your roster to a place that can get you to a championship.
And honestly, those guys are kind of culture setters as well. It's kind of similar to college where the bigger names are the leaders and stuff, but those guys that don't really get as much of the shine, where they're grinding every single day, those are like the blood and engine of that locker room. And those guys are really important.
They're the guys that have always been doubted. So they have to be the people to keep proving themselves. Yeah. They have to do it every level that they've been in.
There's some of the most selfless guys as well. Like
because
they're all about what makes the team better.
Because they know they aren't the same size as some of the big name guys.
Yeah.
So they have to grit it out and just show you they're willing to do anything. And those are the guys you need. Like you said, they're culture setters. Mm-hmm. So recapping everything, our top 5 sleepers on the offensive side of the ball are Jack Besh, wide receiver out of TCU. We have Kyle Williams, wide receiver out of Washington State, and Bashul Tootin, running back out of Virginia Tech. And
we also got Theo Weiss Jr., receiver out of Missouri, and Jalen Rivers, offensive lineman out of Miami.
Yep. And then on the defensive side of the ball, we have Noel Williams, cornerback out of California, and Sean Dolak, linebacker out of the University of Buffalo.
And my defensive gems are Colin Oliver, outside linebacker / edge out of Oklahoma State, Kobe Keene, inside linebacker out of Penn State, and Rayon Lane III, safety out of Navy.
So when you're watching the draft, make sure to keep an eye out for these guys.
And watch these guys film.
Yeah,
like,
watch
don't.
them. I'm
like-
going to try to put some clips.
I'm
in
definitely
this
going to
video.
watch the guys you brought up that I have yet
I'm
to
gonna
watch.
try to put some clips in this video
Got it. Oh, okay.
of these
Yeah.
players. If I can find, like, Sean Dolak might not be the easiest guy to find film on.
I think this is definitely those instances where it's just like highlights.
Yeah,
And-
no, for sure. I'm just trying to show you the best of what these guys got.
yeah, and what they have to offer. Like, you're gonna see like the strengths we say they have. Like, you're gonna see it on the film.
Yep.
All right. Anything else you would like to say?
Nope. What do you guys want to see for a video be?
Is there a gem you think we should have brought up?
Yeah.
We would love to interact. We love bouncing. Like, this is why we love the draft. Like, there's so many other guys you would love to watch that you just don't have the time to watch. Like, guess what? Are gonna end up making a name for themselves in the NFL. People will be like, "How did people overlook this guy?"
Like,
It just happens.
we didn't want to overlap with names, but I remember texting Angel one day and saying, "You need to watch Jack Bash right
Yeah.
now." You were like, "All right, whatever. I don't care."
No, he's a dog.
He's good.
Jack Bash is a dog, man.
He's like that. I'm telling you right now.
No, he's really good. All right. Yeah, comment. Let us know if there was a gem you thought we should have brought up and did it, and didn't. My bad. Or if there's someone we said that you completely disagree with.
Let us know why.
Let us know why you don't think they could be a gem.
And
Subscribe.
don't just say like, "Hey, you guys shouldn't have podcast equipment." How
Uh,
about
those,
you give
those,
us?
those are my favorite because they have nothing to do with their entire lives. They're just eating Chef Boyardee in their mom's basement, and they just got fired from their job last.
Well, they're also
week.
just not competent enough to say why we're wrong.
Yeah,
They're just
I don't
saying,
care
"Take
that
podcast away."
I don't care that you're not supposed to agree with everything we say. I could care less if you trash talk us. I would just appreciate it if it's like, hey, you're stupid, and this is why you're stupid.
Yeah.
That's all. Just let me
Not
know
just,
why.
you guys should not be able to speak.
Yeah, let me know why I'm stupid.
Yeah,
That's
we're
all I'm
fine.
asking
Tell
for.
us.
Yeah.
We know
You think I agree with everything he says and he agrees with everything I say?
if I say the word Shamar Stewart, there's something in his gut that will make him just puke. Like he hates him.
I don't hate him.
Yes, you do.
I don't.
You hate him and you hate Ariante Ursary. But that
I
we're gonna end
don't-
it. That's a different story for a different day.
Well, what?
Maybe that might be our next video. Which
Maybe.
players do you want?
I mean, I feel like we'll definitely bring them up because I think hopefully we'll be able to do a mock draft next week. So,
we need these quarterbacks to sign.
share the video, like the video, subscribe to our channel. We'd really appreciate it. Follow us on TikTok at PM Football Podcast. Follow us on Twitter as well at PM Football Podcast. Again, let us know what you agree with, what you disagree with, and if you call us stupid, tell us why we're stupid. I don't care that you call us stupid.
Even though we're right.
Good point. Just let us know why we're stupid, and then we could kind of create a dialogue.
You can tell us why we're wrong, and then we'll tell you why you're wrong that you thought we were wrong.
Exactly. Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah.
Yep. See you guys next week.
See ya.